Let's see what the messages will be about today. Stop playing, you're ready. We get a lot of same repeat cards out of this index deck. Get you out of my life. There's some kind of issue here. See what I said about repeating cards, death magic again, now it's upright. But I think that you're reversing some kind of negativity spell around you. Observance was kind of sideways. Let's do one more. Oh boy. I think I know what's happening. Invoice sent sideways, but I'm going to take it in the reverse. I mean, it's very interesting because there's some kind of malicious feeling energy for sure. I'm not necessarily saying that you should be worried or concerned. I think we're just calling out something that you've known, is what I heard. This has been known. You kind of know the situation with these people, this person, or their situation is what I wanted to say, or this situation. I think the first card is indicating that you are ready to know this information on a conscious level and not just beneath the surface. And there's something or someone that you really want to remove from your experience that you are looking towards coming to an end with this specific thing. You're basically sitting in a backseat view of your experience and observing what's going on without putting too much energy into it, but kind of willing it to end. Honk confirmation. Invoice sent in the reverse is quite interesting. Let's start there with this tarot. Okay, invoice sent. Hermit in reverse. I'm hearing I couldn't do this alone, I didn't do this alone, but also I'm sensing that there was an end to something that so maybe it's like the end of receiving support in a certain area of life. It seems financial, so probably work related with this invoice word. Let's see. The Chariot sideways. This is, oof. I think that fell between invoice sent and observance, and as I was saying, you're taking a backseat view to the goings on, whatever is currently going on. This feels like a very current situation, and that you're currently making more moves in a specific direction. And also with this Hermit in reverse, I think that you're beginning to say, I'm not the only one to be concerned about in this moment, or just like things aren't the way they were before because I am no longer just a single entity. Let's see what else is going on here. With observance and death magic kind of in between, we have the Queen of Cups, and it wanted to go towards get you out of my life. So if there's anyone who resembles a Queen of Cups in your life, let's get more details just to see what's going on with that. But it seems like this may be someone that you do not wish to be in your life any longer. Or this is really just you taking a back seat and observing everything that's happening, everything that's going on. Strength. This is really good, strong energy. A lot of major arcana with the Fool and the Moon in reverse here. I just heard you are moving on. Possibly by moonlight, maybe nighttime travel, maybe astral projection types of things. But obviously this is very tied to intuition and an internal strength, and I think association with another person or idea or strategy. Just you don't feel so alone anymore. Maybe you have ancestors around or spirit guides, whoever. But you're kind of saying, this used to be a situation where I was alone and could make decisions based on, you know, my own needs, values, and timetable, but now there are other people involved, or at the very least you have responsibilities that you didn't have before that is contributing to kind of a standstill I'm seeing here. Let's go further into that. I mean, standstills need to happen sometimes. Sometimes things need to move and sometimes they need to stand still. Yeah, I'm definitely sensing that you're holding off on a decision. You are unsure which way to go on a certain decision about a certain... I'm getting an event, but my brain said a certain thing. Thanks, brain. Let's see. King of Wands in reverse. I just heard you kind of yelling, I am not who I used to be. There's just some sort of situation here where some people, possibly with blindfolds on, are... I'm getting it. I'm getting it now. This is kind of a tough message. Haven't they all been? But this one is quite specific. In that you are differentiating yourself from past tactics that kept you alive. I heard, this reminds me of a prior thought about letting go of dissociation, associating with your reality. Maybe this has something to do with like a fresh association with your life. Maybe like you feel renewed motivation that you previously did not have. But you are really putting your foot down and asserting that you are different, that you have changed, and that there's no kind of wishy-washiness about your energy or about the way that you are approaching this situation. It's all very certain and it's all very calculated, which I think is the difference. I don't believe that in the past you've possibly been seen as someone who is inherently calculated, but I think you had your ways of making decisions and your moments of clarity and all of those sorts of things, but there's a sort of confusion that's being put out onto you that does not feel realistic, is the specific word I heard. It does not feel realistic. Five of Cups. Let's get a clarification for the Five of Cups. This feels a lot like growing pains, especially in the intuitive department. And possibly in your physical body with strength here. You're just deciding who you want to be, where, and why, and what. I don't know, it's just you're figuring yourself out in the greater context of your surroundings, of your environment, and you're wondering, if I am to switch the environment, do I need to switch the self? Do I need to remain the same at all times? There's just kind of questions about ways that you have cloaked in the past to keep you safe that are kind of no longer needed or necessary. So you're deciding how much of yourself to bring to the conversation, if any. I'm kind of just... You just don't want to run the risk of having to be someone that you are not ever again. This one just came out with the Magician in reverse. Because the manifestations that come in when you are acting out of alignment are wonky as hell. They're wobbly and they suck and they're weird. So the manifestations that come in when you're acting as your genuine self, when you're letting people... I'm hearing manipulate your energy with power and propensity. It's very interesting, but like properly, basically. People feeling your energy and going, oh, I know what to do with this, instead of confusion about the mask that you're putting on, if that makes sense. Or could be putting on, could be asked or forced or made to put on. This is what this reading is about. This reading is about, well, it looks like making a decision about this event that you're not sure of whether or not to go to, but also just seeing how well you have managed yourself up until this point to really get such a rejuvenation of your intuition that you are avoiding low vibrational energies through means of association with your life, with your reality, with your day-to-day, with your functions, with your chores, with your time. And you're just saying, I am not the one to be asked to pull a rabbit out of my ass to make a personality that doesn't benefit me appear for you. You're not into the appearing act of bringing up a face, a facade, or a situation in front of you that used to work well as protection, but at this point it's just a huge hindrance. And I think you're being very stubborn about this, and I think that's for a good reason. Let's see. Because it's kind of Taurus energy. We have the Death card here. This has to do with a favor that you've been giving over to someone or some sort of support that you've been giving. It's coming back in strength against opposition to your authenticity. So what you've been pouring into other people is coming back in you standing in your own 2 feet, in your own 2 shoes. Saying, this is who I am, nothing you say can break or change that, but mostly break that, is what I heard. The Devil in reverse. You're releasing codependent energies, you're releasing codependency strategies, you're releasing codependent parts of self that wish to cling on to unhealthy other parts of other selves. You're saying, I'd rather have no connections than bad ones, and it's not to say that you should or are just doing a mass cutoff of everyone in your life, but with anyone who would ask you to not be yourself anymore or ever again. And I think energetically you're feeling out who that is. There's no real straightforward way to describe what that process is like, but I think you're coming around to realize that, like, the value is within. You're walking out of... And there was something I wrote down about the Five of Pentacles earlier. Let me find it. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think it's in this notebook. No, that's the other one. Wow, this page just came out. Ah, I see. Okay, I'm gonna describe something very weird right now. We'll see how this goes. You know how deserting or leaving social media can often feel a lot like, ooh, I have FOMO, I'm missing out. I think the inverse is absolutely true, actually. This is just a download I got earlier and can be a major theme of this reading, I suppose, especially when it comes to masking and, you know, personality shifts and all those sorts of things. The download was that social media is the cold. So when people feel left out in the cold, they're actually pretty involved in social media. And I am not saying that this is a bad decision, a bad choice. It's just the opposite of what we were programmed to think is true. So I'm just trying to, like, get a crowbar underneath the belief a little bit, because this download came to me and it felt important to say. You're not missing out on anything by involving yourself in what you are actually getting the feeling of FOMO off of. Does that make sense? And that's what I was reminded of it with this Five of Pentacles card. You're seeing all the worth and the value in your own independence and in your own situation and in your own self. You're not going to find it by looking at everything around you and trying to outsource beauty. And you're not going to find it scrounging around on social media either. You're going to find it looking in yourself. I want to pull some of these bigger cards now. I mean, some of these statements are, like, heavy, but the reality is that you are making big, brave choices regarding who you are. And there's not a lot of time for dallying when you're doing something like that. Dilly-dallying. So you're saying, this is who I want to stay, this is who I want to leave. I am taking a back seat to the emotionality of the situation, and I am casting down any negativity thrown towards me. Invoice is not sent. You owe me nothing. You owe me nothing, I owe you nothing. There's just... There's very interesting energy here. Right over the Ace of Cups, we have the Empress. Powerful feminine energy here. Powerful solar plexus energy showing up on the table. I just see that there is a lack of balance in this decision, or, you know, in decision making, perhaps, but not for what you know is right and good for yourself and your growth in every aspect of your being. And you're refusing to stoop down to levels and vibrations that you don't want to be on, The Star fell out right over death. Seriously, I'm telling you, like, okay, this is what this is telling me. Even if you were to stoop down, whatever that means to you, as in, like, get into lower level energies, you know, even if people trick you into being mad when you don't want to be, basically, or you become antagonized when you weren't anticipating it, the Star falling next to death is telling me that you've racked up enough positive energy in your field for that to not even be a problem if it all goes wrong. You are watched over by feminine energies in your family, is what I heard. You are protected. You are watched over by ancestors. You are watched over by feminine guides and spirits and entities. Masculine energy is not the most favorable at the moment from what I'm seeing on this table, so it might be a very good time to just kind of, like, quietly dissolve into the background. If that makes sense. The background of, like, the void. Yeah, I think if you are forced to deal with difficult energies once again, it'll bring up your defenses, because you will realize, like, in going through this situation that you... I don't know whether or not you will yet, but it seems like you don't really want to. Wheel of Fortune with the Three of Swords in reverse. That's pretty good. Under the Empress. I just don't want you to worry so much about the decision, and I'm hearing the conversation, and I want you to focus more on how good everything feels, is what I heard, and is becoming, with the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. But yeah, if you feel sadness about your situation and the way you were treated, whether or not you choose to move forward with this situation, it'll help bring up your defense if you ever need to defend yourself. Does that make sense? Like, either way, it's beneficial to feel your feelings about it all. About it all. The Hierophant in reverse. Pointing at the Three of Swords in reverse. I think there might be an... Oh, yes, double confirmation here. With the Three of Pentacles. That's a double confirmation because that feels very work-oriented, work-related. So this may be a work decision of deciding whether to move up in a company, to move forward with a contract, to close a contract. This feels like a very stressful, very weighted and heady decision. So I feel for you, but I think you're being asked, and this is another masculine energy in reverse. I think you're being asked to lean on your girlfriends, your girls' spirits, like whatever. Sorry if that's weird, but like girl time, you know? With the vibes and with your inner self and with whoever feels the comfiest to you to hang out with. Because I think that this Hierophant energy in reverse over the Three of Swords and connecting to this King of Wands in reverse, everything that's not working out or quote-unquote crumbling in your situation right now is just a result of people trying to wish you into a situation or a position in life that you do not want to be in, and we talked about that a lot recently. Sorry. Just wanted to bring the light closer. Like that. So with this Three of Pentacles in reverse and the Hierophant, it feels like... Sorry, I'm going to move this again. It... Like there. Yeah, like there. It feels like in this situation there was a lack of understanding, there was an expectation for you to show up in a way that you would have in the past, but no one bothered to get up to speed with you, is what I heard. And so while you needed to operate in sort of like a solitary manner after that situation, people are realizing that you're no longer needing to act the way that you once did, so they're kind of wondering what you're going to do now. Does that make sense? I'll get to it. Six of Pentacles in reverse. Ace of Wands in reverse. I don't think it's time to pick up that old cycle. I mean, you're the one... Your energy is the one telling me I do not want to pick up that cycle. I am not going back there. It's just a matter of how do I maneuver, how do I move now that I've made this internal decision that will affect all of the outer ones, of course, but it's like, keep it internal, keep it close to you, keep it your decision, and thank the feminine energies in your space. Here's the Hermit upright. And don't feel like you can't tend to yourself just to avoid the image of tending to yourself. I think that you're imagining a lot about people viewing what you're doing without really considering the fact that they're looking at it kind of half awake with this Nine of Swords in reverse. Half awake as in trying to see you as a one-dimensional being the way they would see someone on social media. A one-dimensional being the way that a mask would appear in a public environment. A one-dimensional being as in, you know, just making one aspect of your life your whole personality. You are not someone who is doing that. And so the decisions on how to move forward, how to present, this is actually very complicated for you, but I think you're deciding to be receptive. I think you're deciding to be cool, calm, and collected. Calm. Can I emphasize calm? Chill, you know, like, you know that your emotions give you power and actually raise your defenses and not lower them. You know that even if you take the lower road, you are still guided and protected and will be brought back on track swiftly and smoothly. And you know that there are just some energies and expectations from the past that are no longer applying, and you're not even needing to lay down the law with that, but you are laying down the law with yourself and saying, like, I know what makes me feel warm, and I know what real FOMO is about, and I know what's what, basically. You're not being fooled anymore. Here's the Hierophant and Death. Let me shuffle it. You know what's what. You can't be fooled anymore by tricks, by tricksters, you know, by any of these sorts of modalities developed to keep you slowed down. You're like, even if I slow down, I'm speeding up regardless because of transmutation. And even with that fact being known, I know that I will overcome the energy itself by listening to my intuition. You have nothing to fear when your intuition is here. I was gonna say there, but here rhymed. All right. Woo! Yes! Okay, we have the Eight of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Pentacles. That's pretty cool. Culmination, love, travel / news. I think there's a culmination of energy that's quickly coming your way that you're feeling so electrically charged and buzzed up and like you're ready to burst with what is coming towards you. Can we have more clues? The Star again. Hello. Over the Wheel of Fortune. Very good. Very good. I think I just heard fate will take its course. I don't think you have to think. I don't think you have to try. I don't think you have to mobilize. I think you just have to be. You just have to be. And watch and be seen. I think most of all you need to be seen. King of Cups. Be seen by your person, be seen by a greater stage. King of Wands reverse. There was just some way that you were operating and being before that you do not agree with any longer. And you do not wish to be that person. You wish to transform, you know, from a King of Wands in reverse to a King of Cups upright, whether that represents two aspects of you, you and your partner, any of those things. But it just seems like going from one state to another, definitely. These are really good cards. So much beautiful feminine energy. I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, the star over the Wheel of Fortune, it's coming from this moment being yours. I know it's hard to believe. I can sense that you feel that it's hard to believe, because how could it be about you? And I don't want you to continue thinking that way, but I hear it. The Four of Cups. Again, there's this energy of, I don't see anything moving, so it's not, so I don't get it, so what are you talking about? Things don't need to move for it to be about you. Things just need to align. So I think some things are going to align that you do not expect, that you do not see coming. And I think it's going to change everything that you know about this situation. Let's get maybe like a timeline. Five of Swords in reverse. The Devil in reverse and the Magician in reverse again. Same as over here. Yeah, I think the Five of Swords in reverse is telling you to stay quiet. Queen of Cups again. Stay quiet, look within, don't worry. You know, your intuition will guide you on how to deal with this. Temperance. I think it might take a minute and you just need to be patient. And I am sorry, because this feels urgent, but I assure you that no matter what happens, you are protected. You are protected. What? These decks got mixed up. Hang on. Let's see what card made it over here. The King of Cups again. Hey. Double confirmation on that transmutation, transformation you are doing. The King of Wands says, you know, I did it. And the King of Cups says, we did it together. And that's from an advanced tarot book that I can't remember the author of right now. But I love that description of the two different kings, just to show us what path feels more aligned to the moment. I mean, do you want to be just crediting yourself, or do you want to be in this co-creative situation? I mean, there's no wrong answers, and realistically, you might be a King of Pentacles, or you might be a Queen of Wands. The cards kind of tell us what to think, and they change throughout time and situations. So, you know, just usually the image that first comes to mind of what's going on is a good reference point. Even if it changes later, your mind will play pictures of what might be going on when I'm telling you these things. The Eight of Swords came out as I was saying that. So yeah, I'm seeing, like, you know, my brain keeps saying silent movie. So maybe while I'm talking, you're seeing a silent movie behind your eyes. I don't know. But, you know, is there any other direction this reading needs to go? Or, I mean, any more feminine energy you want to show up and give us good messages? We haven't really talked, well, I don't know if we've gotten to what you want to remove from your life. Maybe something about that. You want to remove a lack of support from your life. You want to remove a feeling of not being supported from your life. And that's why you're saying teamwork is better than nothing working. Collaboration is better than Well, I heard isolation, which I think is what this card is kind of pointing to. Maybe you're seeing visions behind your eyelids, so maybe when you're dreaming, or just when you're listening to readings about how life could be, and you feel like no one supports you seeing that. It could be very possible. Let's see what this Knight of Pentacles in reverse is speaking on. Four of Wands in reverse. I just heard you don't feel supported for who you are. You don't feel supported for who you are. Someone said that very loudly. Go towards the support. Go towards the support no matter what. And away from the lack of support. Don't go towards that. I know it can be hard, but really think about what support feels like in your system. And if you say, I've never had it, I don't know, you know that you've never had it. And that might be the case. With the Sun in reverse, that might be the case. Okay. Even if you have support right now that is out of this world, it can't replace what you lost back then. And I don't want to hound on this every reading about the inner child, but maybe that's what I'm being led to talk about. Seven of Cups in reverse, especially if, you know, dreams lately have been a little intense or a little heavy. I think this is, once again, your inner kid trying to get a message out. So let's see what they have to say. What do they have to say? Ten of Cups just tried to flip out, but it didn't. The Lovers and the Three of Wands. Beautiful. You're saying life is making up for the mistakes in the past in spades, and there are just two or more situations in your life that feel a lot better than, you know, those types of situations ever have. And there's no denying that there has been improvement, and that there is expansion, and that there is something to look forward to. There's something to do. Like, I think perhaps there was some sort of like disengagement in your upbringing that led to like a lack of interaction, a lack of communication, a lack of understanding between one another. Interesting. Maybe you had specific issues with one parent. We won't get too far into this, but it wants to be said. And this is the part that's hard to think about, and I understand. So maybe let's not. But I do want to speak on the fact that it looks like your nightmares, if you have been having them, are improving, but you're more so experiencing like situations of confusion within like the in-between states of sleep, like the hypnagogic states. Hypnopomnia is the other one, I think it's called. Just those moments in between sleeping and awakeness where you're like, huh, what? And then you're still having dreams while being aware, but they're not exactly dreams. They're just kind of like really good liminal spaces in the brain for realization, specifically. So it may not feel like you're comfortable in those in-between states quite yet. I think that's what you're looking forward to, but it's at least not as heavy as it was before, as it once was. But you're like, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Because it feels like those sorts of fears that come in at night sometimes are the ones that make your mask pop up when you don't want it to. When you don't want to conceal yourself or hide who you are. Your fear of reprimanding in the dream space is keeping you cloaked. So let's see what we can do about that. Ten of Cups, there it is. Just know you have more good ideas coming to you. Know you have more deeply profound realizations coming through, more instances of clarity, more restful nights on the way. It's only going to get better. I know you're really afraid of going back to a time when you couldn't be yourself, and that clouded your judgment back then. It was harder to make decisions. But I see you've come along, and I don't want you to worry about going backwards because you can't. It's impossible. You know, it's Death and the Two of Wands. It's just possible to change, like, what and who you're pouring into now and what you're pulling away from. That's what is truly in your control and what matters. Otherwise, it's just kind of self-betrayal to try to control any other aspect of life. I know that's hard to withstand, but you'll find more peace. Queen of Wands. Let's pull 2 more cards. Sorry, Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. I do mix them up sometimes. My bad. And the Fool. I see you walking. I see this. You're walking away from this person. This is the get you out of my life card. This is the whole centerpiece of it. I'm so sorry you have to walk away from this. I didn't want to deliver this news, but I am delivering it. And it's not to say that you just know what the Queen of Swords means to you in terms of who that person is, but I think there's someone you're debating. Do I go back towards... If it's not a 100% sure, and here's the Moon in reverse again. If it's not 100% sure, as in, like, you don't know if this person currently supports you or not, I would say that they don't. 8 of Pentacles. It seems like they're only supportive of you if you're in a certain position in life, or if you're doing something specific with your time. And the Chariot came out upright. I think you're learning how you want to spend your time. I think you know how you want to move forward. I think you're moving faster than these people. And they're saying, I don't know, it's like, don't you want to move forward by slowing down? And that's not necessarily what you're looking to do. It's a no-brainer for you, actually. After all of this trepidation and all of this wondering, it's kind of a no-brainer. Because you know that your safety is at stake in the most important thing. We have the 7 of Swords in reverse, the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands in reverse, and the 6 of Wands. If you go into that situation, they will try to put a mask on you. Whether or not that works depends on whether or not you put it on willingly. If you put it on willingly, you can wield it. If it's put on you by someone else, it's not good. Does any of this make sense? At all? 6 of Swords reversed. Ooh, buddy. I don't like the way that these people feel. I don't like the way the situation feels. I know you're going to trust your judgment, and you're going to weigh your options, and you're going to make your plans. 7 of Pentacles. You're like, I know how to spend the slow moments, thank you. It's on reflection and not on trying to make slow moments fast. I just feel like I'm saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense, but maybe something has been helpful to you. I don't think there's anything else. I'm going to pull one more card just to close it. And there's a bunch of them. Let's take them all. Page of Pentacles, King of Wands, upright, Justice in the reverse, and the Hanged Man in the reverse. This is my closing statement for you. There's not much you need to reflect on to remember how it was back then, and what you're refusing to return to, and what you are being asked to recall and to go back into. You remember how terrible they were towards you, whoever these people are, that you're deciding whether to move away from. And you're kind of saying the whole reason I had to change from that previous person to this one is because of how bad you were towards me. So no, I'm not going to return to that just so that we can have those similar types of conversations again. You're now going to be interfacing with a different person, if at all. So whether or not you move towards this situation is less critical than realizing who you will be acting as while you are moving towards it, or who you will be acting as while you're in it. One more card, High Priestess. Follow the feminine instinct, follow the feminine impulse. What would the beloved feminine member in your family do if that is something that you align with? If, you know, sorry, one more, 10 of Pentacles again. There's just a big winning from this decision, and I think no matter which way you go, because you will learn more about yourself. And if this isn't specifically about a decision and more about a situation, I just think that there are forces looking out for you, including ones like this that you're watching online, that are telling you don't look back. You know, don't look back at a more controllable version of yourself and go there just to please a situation. Let things roll through, let the emotions, you know, ride the wave all the way to the shore. And just know that you have super good energy on the table right now. So I hope this was helpful. Okay, bye. Thank you.